So, I don't think I've said it yet, but I'm from Canada. I'm not like super Canadian. Like where I live, there's not much of a Canadian climate. I mean, we get hardly any snow and it reaches like 40 degrees in the summer, Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Then that would be pretty Canadian. Because some places in Canada, we got snow in August. Alberta. Like, I'm proud to be Canadian. I've had a few like really Canadian experiences. When I was like 12, I went on this camping trip thing. I don't know. And I went snowshoeing up a mountain and I lugged a whole bunch of supplies on a toboggan. That sounds so Canadian. And I was wearing a toque. Oh my gosh. It was hard work. It was a lot of work. And it was cold. Like we were like camped up on this mountain and we were in like a cabin with no electricity, no running water, so we just melted snow. Canada! But we actually built snow caves. Like we made a giant mound of snow and then dug it out and then slept in there. And this was like a bunch of 12-year-old girls. That's pretty awesome if you ask me. And then I had quite a few experiences up there because while everyone else was tobogganing down the mountain, somehow I got locked in the outhouse for like 2 hours and I was terrified and I was too scared to like bang on the door and say, come on, someone let me out. So I was just in there for 2 hours until someone like walked in like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, let me out. So I didn't get to go sledding. And one of the most Canadian experiences I have was when I was 3 years old and I almost died. So I'll elaborate. My grandparents were building their house and then I was in the backyard toddling around like 3-year-olds do, and then out of nowhere came a giant moose. Moose are not indigenous to where we live, so it was really bizarre that there was a moose. And it came out of nowhere and it was about to run me over. Little 3-year-old Michaela was about to be killed by a moose. How Canadian does it get? I mean, other than like riding a polar bear and jumping off an avalanche. Jumping off an avalanche, you can't do that. Riding a polar bear and taking down a moose. So I was standing there in front of this giant moose and it was coming towards me, but thankfully there was a construction worker who saw a little 3-year-old girl about to be run over by a moose and swooped in and saved me. So thank you, sir. I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm pretty Canadian. We may not get much snow, although it's supposed to snow tomorrow, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Everybody else in Canada is just like, why are you wishing for snow? So I'm pretty Canadian. I always like watching YouTubers and finding out that they're Canadian, and because I always just go in assuming they're American, and then once they say they're Canadian, I'm like, yeah, Canada! I hope you didn't see that my shirt lifted up. So I just wanted to talk about Canada and how I've had some pretty Canadian experiences. So I hope I didn't bore you too much. Bye.